Hey everyone, welcome back to another live stream. As usual, I'm a little early here, so I'm going to wait for everyone to get on, but we're going to have a little something different tonight. I'm not sure if we'll get to actually running any trains, so if that turns you away, then go ahead and go do something else. But I do have a bit of scenery that I have started, and I think it'd be kind of fun to continue that, just work on a couple projects I have. I haven't really had a chance this week to clean up the layout, so I think this would be time well spent for me at least to continue this work, and hopefully you guys can get something out of it. But if you guys are really dying to see something running on the layout, then let me know. I'll get something maybe towards the end of this video, maybe towards the end of the hour. So we'll work for a good 45 minutes and then we can do something train-wise after that. Again, I'll let a few more people get on the live stream and see what kind of crowd we got here, and I will just start getting some things prepped. I've already done a little bit, but just need to gather some items for you guys. So yeah, so we're not going to do anything specific. I've actually already changed my mind. I think it would be fun to get a train running, just because I know that's what people expect. I just, we've been doing that for the past 5 or so weeks, and I only have a limited amount of rolling stock, so I just wanted to mix it up for those people who don't want to see me run basically the same train every week. So we will still get to that. Someone just asked for a long BNSF consist. I do have a consist of like five locomotives lashed up in the yard right now. So you know what, maybe, as I said, maybe like 45 minutes we'll get this going. I just ran this train for the heck of it. It's all of our, I don't have the lower level lights on right now either, but we got 3 BNSF locos and 4 scale trains units there too. So ET44, C4, 2 more tier 4s, -9, ST70 Max. So if you want, I can get that thing rolling later in the video just for the fun of it, but I don't have anything operations-wise hooked up or ready to go. We might be able to make a pickup here at the grain elevator, but that is it. So, all right. Well, for everyone who is here right now, I just want to touch on a little bit of scenery that I've started. It's nowhere near complete yet, but I have begun to do some dirt in here. So you'll see that I have the dirt in our little trench there. And then we got, you can see our little access road off here to the right. I'm doing this sort of in multiple steps. So I get the dirt down first, just like the base level of dirt, and then you'll see that I've started to touch up the right-of-way access here by adding some of that stray ballast that just kind of gets kicked off to the far side of the track. So I've got that up against the ridge there. You'll see some tire tracks in here where it's sort of down to the raw dirt. You can see that lighter color there. So that's what I was sort of going for in that area. You'll see on the other side of the tracks we have a bit more ballast kicked out here, and I've tried to mix up the color a little bit. You'll see as we get over here, there's some sort of like a pink color in there, and I don't have any photos to show you right now, but I took a bunch of photos when I was out on Crawford Hill in 2014, and there's this one area somewhere around this ridge where there's quite a bit of pink ballast that has clearly been crushed up and just sitting along the right-of-way there. So of course what you don't see yet is weathered track or ballast, so that'll come as the next step. I'll actually probably do grass first, just because I found if I do the ballast first and then I do static grass, it tends to get stuck between the ballast granules. So that I want to avoid. And then moving up this way, you'll see a bit more ballast here on the inside of the curve. This will sort of be blended in to some higher weeds. We'll have a couple of sort of big bushes out here or small trees. And then I've started to paint the rock cuts here. So this is one rock cut. This one was done out of Sculptamold. And then you'll see I have some rock outcroppings here that'll be sort of poking out from the grass. So not all of this will be exposed. I'm thinking I'll probably have some grass up in here. All of that over there will be grass. And you'll notice that I have some sort of different colored dirt here and there as well. So we might do a little more of that. And you'll see I've started to paint my rock cuts here as well. So they're really light colored, and you can see a bit of stratification there with the different colors. That's what it looks like when it's just white, and this is how it is painted. So that is something I need to continue. So we might work on painting those rock cuts there, as well as up here. I have another rock cut on the other side of the layout to fill in. So I'm probably going to do a little bit of that and show you how I do that. Yeah, I'll try to wrap up, give me 40 minutes or so, which sounds like a lot, but we'll try to get a train running later in the video, just for the heck of it. I haven't run any trains since our last live stream, so this is just going to be best for me to get a bit of work done when I can. So just a second, my dog's being annoying and he wants upstairs, so let me let him out. You gotta go upstairs. Come here. Come here, bud. You stay with me. Are you gonna go up? Alright, I'll be back. Okay, and then really quick, I'll do this question. Caleb asked how the two levels are separated. It's a continuous climb, so there's no helix, and the connection to the upper level. So you'll see even when you stand right here, that is the lower level there, but it seems like it's multi-level already. But that track there goes back into the staging room and continues to climb, and then when it comes out, of course you can't see it because I got the door open, but when it comes out on the other side, it's that track up there. So at that point it's on the upper level, which is of course the same level as you see right here, same there as well. So just to show that a little better, I'll go to the other end of the layout really quick. And this area over here helps to illustrate that. So like on the left, we have the lower and upper level, and once again, lower and upper level. But you'll notice that this is the beginning point of both levels. This is sort of the ending point over here. And you can see how they just generally climb upgrade there. So that is how that works. And here's our rock cut that still needs to be faced. So I might texture that in a second. All right. Okie dokie. So I might just set you guys back here a little bit. This isn't going to be as fun as our past live streams, but I'm just going to do a bit of work, and I'll check in from time to time to answer any questions that I might be able to answer. So I will pull you back here, just so you guys are out of the way. Okay. And no, Carl, this is a solution. I'm just using a big stool here and putting the tripod on top, which technically I could do every week to get a view up here. I just think it's hard to move it around, but now that I'm seeing this is probably going to be better when we run trains. So I might just try to stick with it. I've just been annoyed trying to move the stool and the tripod in the past. They tend to not be easy to maneuver, but I can deal with it if that would make it easier to view trains. Okay. This stuff here is just sort of my go-to material for any patches. I've used this for roads. I've used it for the rock cut faces that you see there, pretty much everything. And this this stuff's just really great. It's just kind of like flexible foam almost when it dries, but it's still a plaster material, so it smooths out really well. So it's kind of a use all or fix all solution. Whoa, sorry guys. Damn it. See, this is why I hate the stupid stool. All right. All right, so that wasn't really interesting, but I did just want to touch up a few places. I just use this stuff to fill in any cracks, smooth out any edges, things like that. And once it dries, which doesn't take that long, I just sand it down. So now I want to really quickly, we're going to paint this top little portion there and maybe touch up the paint in the existing rock work there. And then I think it'd be great to get a bit of ground cover, some dirt started here, just so you can see that process. So the colors I like to use for my rocks, I've got just some of this really cheap Americana paint. This is fawn, or just sort of like a light tan color, and then I mix that with some white, and that gets me the color that you see over here. So we'll let this dry here, but you can see I've sort of matched the colors. And it's a little tough to see right now. It helps to be inside of my own head because I know exactly where the ground cover will or won't go. So I don't have to paint everything here. I tend not to paint the layout surface just because that's I don't know, sort of an extraneous step for me. You'll see anywhere where there's dirt, you don't see the layout surface beneath it. I put on a full enough coat that it doesn't show through. And on top of that, there's going to be grass there. So what we're going to do now is work on some of this dirt, like you see right there. And I'll really briefly talk about the mixture that I used to create that dirt. You'll see a more complete look of that here, a little more textured. Got a bit of ballast in there too, mixed in. And I do need to touch up the edge, but again, that's probably going to be grass, so I don't really care. You can see a little bit of the paper through there, but really, if you're more than an inch away, it just looks like a bit of darker dirt. And once there's grass on there, there will be nothing to see. So I tend to take just the common sense approach to modeling, and it tends to work out. So let us then turn our attention to doing a bit of dirt. The other thing I want to point out is that I'm going to do a second layer of paint. So you'll notice in many of the areas on my backdrop, it looks kind of spotty, especially up there. You'll see it on the backdrop over here as well. The reason for that is there actually used to be a white panel there. So what you're seeing behind that is the original gray. And I just put down a first coat. I knew I was going to have to do two, but I also knew that I was going to sort of dirty up the backdrop here and there. It's possible, of course, if you try really hard to keep the dirt off, but just the way I do it, there are a few places where it gets, you know, just sort of goopy or dirty. So I'm going to go ahead and touch that up before I get to the grass, because that'll be pretty easy. It's not even a big deal if I get some on the dirt itself. I'll just put it, you know, do a little touch-up work. So I might have to go back and forth a couple times in maybe one or two spots, but for the most part, I think the most efficient way for me to do this was how I have done it, which is put one coat down, do the dirt, and then come back in and do a second coat. So once I get all the dirt on the upper level complete, I will do that second coat of backdrop paint. And I'm sure a lot of you will ask probably if I'm gonna do an actual backdrop, like landscape backdrop. And the answer is yes, eventually. But if I'm going to do one, I want it to be a photo backdrop. I do have some really good images that someone supplied to me. I just need to take the time to stitch those together. And once I do that, we'll get that printed in sort of a large format style and pretty high quality. And that in itself is sort of an investment, but then I'll be able to cut out the landscape, and I should be able to, using sort of just a plain paper template originally to get the contour along the backdrop, then I can trace that contour onto the actual images and then plop those in place. And I'm hoping to get that on an 8-foot roll so that I can just cut in sections, 8-foot sections of landscape backdrop. So anyway, that's a little bit down the road, but that hopefully explains why I don't have a painted backdrop yet and why I'm continuing on with the scenery anyway. Okay, gotta go get my dirt. So I have found out that the best way for me to do dirt is to do it in sort of two mixtures. I have what I think of as my generic dirt, which you'll see pretty much anywhere that's not going to be exposed dirt. So the stuff that you see like right there, that's going to be mostly behind grass. There's going to be a few tufts here and there missing, so you will see the dirt behind it. But that sort of dirt that you see there, sort of that raw, natural untouched dirt is different than the mixture that I plan on using for my right-of-way access. And that is sort of the stuff that you see in between the rails here. And now it might not be visible to you guys from your perspective, but they are composed slightly differently. As a general rule, where did I put it? Sorry guys. As a general rule, I mix up my dirt in a jar like this using plaster of Paris, so just like a dry white powder plaster compound. And then to that, I mix the color using dry tempera powder paints, like what you see right here. So this is from Blick Art Supply. I just ordered this. So I use yellow, black, and brown. And I tend to use the yellow in a greater proportion than the brown, just because the brown tends to be sort of a rich red color. And you'll see that gives me this sort of this dusty, almost desert look to it. And if you look at photos of Crawford Hill, the dirt there tends to be a lighter color. But I'm really talking about the natural dirt. What does tend to differ then is the exposed dirt that you see near the right-of-way. So what I have in here right now actually matches more closely what I have for the natural dirt areas that'll be underneath the grass. So this is sort of a light color here, but there are areas of Crawford Hill where the access roads next to the tracks are sort of a darker color. And I found too that if you're gonna do the plaster dirt method, it really helps to mix in a rock compound. So what I have here, this is Arizona Rock and Mineral, I think it's Kaibob, or however the hell you say that. It's a limestone powder mix. So it's a really light colored limestone that's been powderized, and it's a little denser than plaster, a little more distinct. So there's individual grains in there, but it's really, really finely ground and powderized. And I find that mixing that in makes the plaster adhere. It's not plaster, at that point it really is a dirt mixture that we're simulating, and it helps it adhere to the layout surface a little better. So with all that said, what I tend to do is mix in that powderized rock when I'm doing the access roads, because that makes it much more easy to sand and to get interesting patterns in it. It also helps it adhere a little more. And then I don't care so much when it comes to the dirt that's going to be hidden under grass. With that, I don't waste the Arizona Rock and Mineral material. I just use plaster and powder paints. Sorry, powder paints, tempera paints. And then the other great thing about using this stuff, so this is the tag for that powderized rock mixture I showed you. This stuff's really great to use because it actually naturally colors the plaster mix anyway. So you can use this. It's already colored because it's natural rock, and then the powder the plaster then, that helps to lighten up the color, because once it's glued to the layout, it tends to darken a shade or two. So anyway, let me put down a little bit of dirt here, and then if you guys really want me to, I will run a train, but I do need to spend some time vacuuming and wiping down the rails. So that'll be up to you if you want to stick around, but I will be getting to a bit of dirt here. So as you guys saw, I put the glue down first in a really diluted mixture, and I try to paint that on, and I work in relatively small areas because I don't want the glue to dry too quickly. I then sift on the dirt, and then once the dirt is cleaned off the backdrop with a dry brush, I then spray it with some isopropyl alcohol. I tend to just use full strength, even though it's probably a waste, but it just really helps to break the surface tension. And as I said, the mixture I'm using for this sort of background dirt doesn't involve powderized rock, so it's sort of soft and almost billowy, so it doesn't tend to grab super well. But the cool thing is it is plaster based, so if you get it damp enough, it tends to adhere to itself. But it's not uncommon where, you know, I'll put down the, I'll put down the dirt mixture, and then I'll find some spots where it didn't completely adhere, or maybe I didn't put it down strong enough or thick enough. And if that's the case, it's not a big deal. I just, you know, paint on a little more glue, because once the plaster is dry, or the dirt mixture is dry, you can paint over it with a bit more glue mixture, sift on some more dirt, and that is easy to fix. And yes, that's the other thing. What you see right there will dry the color that you see there. So once it's damp and the alcohol's on it, it looks really dark, but the alcohol evaporates really quickly, and as long as the glue dries fairly quickly, you guys should probably see this lighten up even in the few minutes we have right now, and it will eventually be the color you see there. Yeah, okay. So, well, I don't know, that seems probably good in terms of a little scenery demonstration. Really, I wasn't doing that just to show you guys how I did it necessarily. I really wanted to get a bit of work done. I've had a busier week than expected, but I am slowly chugging this way. And the only things that are really holding me up right now are the tunnel portal. So you'll see here I have this sort of cutout where I'm not dealing with that right now. I'll come back in and fill in the rocks in front of here as well as the dirt, which should be no problem. And I'm also going to do a bit of rock face here. It'll be pretty shallow, but I do want that to blend into the portal there, so that we have a bit of a backdrop there that's sort of physical and takes your eye away from the fact that it just looks like it goes into oblivion right there. So that'll give this scene a bit more depth. And then yeah, so then I'll be able to continue the dirt like on the other side. The other area where I haven't, well, I mean, part of it's I just need to continue working. I haven't come to this issue yet because I'm not this far yet in construction, but I am working on the tunnel portal here. I'm still sort of refining it. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it's actually pretty cool. It slides out nicely. You'll see how snug it is there in the backdrop cutout. So this I actually decided just to face with tape on the inside. Let me rotate this for you. So you can see the ribbing on the outside. I then put some thin paper strips that I hot glued to the roof, which look kind of stupid from this angle. But once you go over it with tape a number of times, it actually really smooths it out, and you get a nice arched the roof there, an arched roof. Right now the tape's sticking off the end. I need to trim that once again. I added a bit more because there were some areas that were kind of crinkly. And you see I spray painted it once. I'll spray paint it again, sort of darker color. I'm not looking to super detail the inside of this, but I do want the interior to have the shape of a real tunnel liner, and I want it also to conform quite nicely to the tunnel portal which I've created here. So this is not done yet. I need to paint that. But I did etch in the date marker there for 1920. I have a milepost marker there, which kind of has eroded away. So this is a fairly accurate tunnel portal. And this, if you guys are curious, if you want a quick way to make a tunnel portal that actually looks pretty decent, this is made out of cardboard. So I put two pieces of cardboard together, cut out in the exact proportions of a tunnel portal. And then I went over it with that 3M patch plus primer material that I showed you in just really thin layers. And I didn't perfect it because I want it to be sort of a beat up tunnel portal. You'll see that it's kind of like falling apart there. I don't even have the same thickness everywhere. If I wanted to, I could, but I kind of like the fact that it looks like it's sort of worn away along the edges because it's an old tunnel portal. In real life, it's no longer in use. So I'm going to pretend like it never got abandoned and they haven't really kept it up at all. So that's a really easy way to make a tunnel portal in about 20 minutes instead of having to make your own cast for it. So that's a cool little project if you're interested. And then I just need to do the tunnel portal on the other side then, so that I can continue scenery work. Because as you can see, I still need to get the paper up over here, and that'll allow me to then continue my dirt work this way and then get some grass down as well. So yeah, actually you can already see some areas where the dirt is beginning to lighten up. It looks really bad in this intermediate phase, like that's not an attractive look right there, but once it dries it has a much more uniform look to it. Alrighty. Well guys, I think I might call it a night. I know that's a little short. I don't know if you guys want to see anything else. I know I kept mentioning that I might run a train, but I just wasn't prepared for that tonight. It's not a big deal. I just have to clean the tracks. You can see I've got a bunch of plaster lying on the tracks there. So I need to vacuum most of the layout, as well as, you know, picking up the actual materials. I got all sorts of stuff everywhere over here. Not a big deal, you know, like that doesn't take 20 minutes to pick up, but it's more of a courtesy to you. I don't want you guys to stick around for 20 minutes as I clean up, and I don't have a ton of time tonight. So we ran a little short. And I know that wasn't as fun as usual, but hopefully you guys enjoyed nonetheless. And one positive is that we didn't have any YouTube troubles tonight, at least on my end. So hopefully everything was clear on your end. And good news is I am getting a bit of scenery, well, not completed, but beginning scenery. And I'll continue to work away at that. And I should have a layout update sometime soon. Unfortunately, I don't have any new rolling stock to share with you. Everything's still in the same place where we parked it last week, so that's how that goes. And as always, any last minute questions, feel free to ask. Hopefully I didn't miss too much. I tried to glance at the questions here. So yeah, hopefully I didn't miss anything, but shoot, I'm tripping over stuff. So yeah, I don't know what I'm showing you guys now at this point. Oh, other thing, yeah, someone asked really early on what I use for my DCC system, and I actually started to shoot a video last week on reviewing the DCC system that I have, because I get so many questions during the live stream about it. But I have the ESU cab control system. I got this through Bradley DCC about 1.5 years ago, and it is an awesome system. I really like it. So I fully recommend it for you guys. It might seem a little expensive right off the bat. I think it's about maybe $450 right now, but it is a nice starter system. It comes with 7 amps of power, a good, very powerful control unit. You see that in the middle. And then the throttle is probably the most impressive thing. It's got an Android operating system, a full touchscreen, a really ergonomic knob on it that is motorized. There's all sorts of stuff you can do with it, and it's wireless right out of the box and communicates via a Wi-Fi signal. So yeah, I can't really say much more about it now, but I will be having a video soon just sort of going over the major features and what I think are the pros and the cons. So that's all I wanted to say about that. If anyone had any questions about that, who's actually still on the live stream. But once again, that's all I've got for tonight. So next week, hopefully something a little more exciting. I know Carl sent me an email sometime today about getting some more trains running, maybe picking up and dropping off cars similar to last week, which should be fun. And hopefully it's smoother than it did last week when I forgot to drop off our cars. So I will come up with some plan for next week. We might touch on a little more scenery work. I know Carl just asked to look at how to texture, or how I texture the rock cuts. I'm still figuring that out, but it's going well so far. So I might work on that one, and I'll make sure that the layout's cleaned up so we can run some trains as well. So as I've already said now like 20 times as I drag out this long goodbye, thank you guys for stopping in, and be sure to tune in next week. We'll be here once again at 9 p.m. Eastern for another live stream, and it should be fun. So as always, guys, I really appreciate you guys stopping in and asking questions, and be tuned for more videos other than live streams as well. I'll be sure to work on pumping out some videos, even here at the end of my busy semester. So I'll see you guys soon. Thanks.